Hello everyone, welcome to the video, and today we're going to talk about decibels. Let's see how that's going to turn out. Hi everyone, I'm your host DJ Tony, and today we're going to talk about decibels and kind of, I guess, what they are, maybe a little bit how they work and how we can understand them and use them. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you guys got here via the djideasharing.com website. Please make sure you check us out because I know we're putting up content and stuff all the time. So thanks again for checking us out. So again, today, decibels. I will say that this is kind of a pet peeve topic for me because I constantly see on the internet how people are, DJs are saying, oh, my speaker does 136 dB, or my speaker does 128, or this one only does 122. You should get this one because it does 128. Yeah, that is not right at all. Let me clarify. Let's kind of dig in. So this premise is what kind of fostered me to get on this topic. So to address that directly, let's understand when we see that number, mainly for speakers, especially active speakers, but passive are the same way. Let's just say, speaker A says it does 128 dB at 1 watt at 1 meter. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you that that's a lie. I'm pretty sure if that spec is in a sheet that's attached to whatever speaker we're talking about, that's probably true. But we have to understand what that spec really means. And what it means is at 1 meter, which is roughly 3 feet away, at 1 watt of input into the speaker, it can deliver, in this example, 128 dB. That's for a brief moment. And it is an important spec. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to dismiss it like the whole watts conversation about, well, this speaker does 1,000, this speaker does 2,000, do watts really matter? We're gonna tackle that on another video. But so with that dB spec, it does matter because it is more a reflection of the efficiency of the speaker than the actual capable output of the speaker. So what does that mean? So as the number goes up, so again, we're sitting here hovering in the 120s and we start getting into the 130s, that's great. That's a very positive number, which means at the same amount of voltage, the same amount of power that we're putting into the speaker, you're going to get more output. That's great. That's a good thing to have. The lower that number is, the more inefficient the speaker is. The higher the number is, the more efficient the speaker is. That's a good thing. But that doesn't translate to your speaker is going to have 128, 130, 132 dB output. That is not what that means at all. That number, and again, let's kind of bring it back down. When we start talking about decibels, those numbers are insanely loud. I cannot convey enough how once you get past, say, 100, the threshold of 100 dB, and I guess if you really want your system banging, 110, say, okay, that is like you're doing some serious work. You're doing that's a tremendous amount of energy that's being, produced by the amps, be it passive active, that are making the speakers jump. You start getting north of 110, you are putting out some insane SPL, sound pressure level. Your output is just astronomically loud. I know I came up with a graph that I'll probably put up. I'm probably out of sync with my presentation here right now, but just to talk about it, I found this graph that would say, a whisper they say is 15 decibels. The ambient noise in a library is 45. I know last year, actually, when I gave a presentation at DJX, and I know I love how I'm kind of guilty of it. I actually do have a SPL meter, like a real sound pressure level meter, but I know everybody has the app. For the record, your cell phone microphone is not a calibrated mic, so I would take those readings with a grain of salt. Having said that, I ballparked that when I was talking, and I'm kind of a loud guy anyway, during the presentation, and I'm pretty sure I didn't even have a mic, but I was hitting when I was speaking, about 85 dB. And that's just normal. And again, I'm a pretty loud guy, but according to this little sheet, a restaurant hits about 90. A baby crying hits about 110, they say. A jet engine is 120. I don't know why they got a Porsche here, but they say a Porsche running a red line is 138. And if you've been listening, those numbers, when you say you jump from say 110 to 120, 120 to 130, doesn't sound like a lot, because in simple math, you're only jumping 10 dB or you're jumping 12 dB, but that's not how the decibel meters work, if you will, or how decibels are actually calibrated and measured. Decibels with sound are calibrated and measured logarithmically. So it's not incremental, meaning it's not for one. Think of it like hydraulics, if you will. So, with normal stuff, if you will, if you push something, let's just keep it simple, 1 pound of force, you can push something 1 foot forward. That's kind of 1 for 1. With hydraulics, you do 1 pound of force, you can move something 10 feet, and that's how you measure decibels. It's in a logarithmic, it's exponentially, the increments are exponentially larger. It's not a 1 for 1. So, and again, I'm kind of trying to keep this simple so we can understand it. So when you start looking at it and thinking of it that way, you kind of start to understand the decibels themselves can get really out of control.